Why, hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Nincompoops podcast. I'm your host, Paul, along with my fellow co-hosts, Dean and Jim. Hello, boys. How you doing?
Hello. So, if you're here last week, you might have been expecting an episode with our friend Joram again.
Yes.
However, at the very last minute, he backed out. What a coward. Am I right, boys?
Yeah, coward.
He cowered out of our friendly conversation.
Again, I low-key forgot he was supposed to come on this week, or, any subsequent weeks. Until,
okay. He said he's going to try to make it next week, if we're doing it next week. If not, then, we'll try to work it out. But, yeah, here we are, episode 64. Which
next
is
week. Next
nice
week,
number.
just before Christmas.
Christmas.
Wow. Are we doing like a Christmas episode? Is this what's happening?
Next week we can.
Next week?
Although it was just it would just be a few days off, I guess. Yeah, which isn't a big deal. So yeah, I guess it's a Christmas episode next week.
Practically a Christmas episode.
I mean, I think the episode after that is like about the same day, a few days away from Christmas as well, just the opposite direction. So either way, it works. Yeah,
it's about 30 before. It's like if it's like 7 days from now, it'll be like on the 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd, 29th. So they're about, both those days are about the same length.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Don't matter. I'm fine. All right, so I guess we're getting our holiday pay.
So if we're doing it both podcasts, if we're doing both 22nd and 29th, we will be doing the Christmas one and the New Year's one, assuming we get both done. So that's kind of cool.
Wow, yeah. Look at us working on the holidays.
Yeah. But anyway, how you guys doing?
Doing all right. It's cool.
Doing all right. It's a little bit chilly. Look at me in my boring background. You guys are, well, I can see why Dean's cold. Look at his background. He's like outside in the snow. It's outside. There's like freaking like snow everywhere. There's probably like a snowman behind Dean because Jim has the exact same background, but you can't see it. Can't see it because Dean's like directly in center. Why is there a pencil? Why is there a pencil sticking in the sky?
Hey, I have no clue. All right. We're putting a snow globe.
I don't know if I should say this for next week, but I was just thinking a lot of these Christmas snacks aren't very good, like gingerbread houses. Like they're cool. They're cool to build and everything, but as a treat or a snack, they're not very good.
How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. I just like building.
How? What?
It's like kind of stale, because you're just leaving it there and it hardens, and it's not great. Gingerbread on its own, it's fine, but then when you make it at the house and it stays there for a while, it's not the best.
No, you're probably right. I think I agree with the gingerbread man sort of thing, but I think both of those, gingerbread house and the gingerbread man. You guys ever had those? The gingerbread man?
I've had both, and the gingerbread man's fine, but you have to eat it fresh. For the house, because it's like more of a decoration than it is a food. It's like a decoration you can eat, basically. More there's a food. It's also a decoration. I think that you leave it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my issue with that is that the last time I probably ate those was like
I was a kid.
Kindergarten was the last time I had those, and that's probably why I'm like remember eating those. Like, this is fucking amazing because I was a little kid with a slight sweet tooth. So that's probably what I'm basing off of the nostalgia of the gingerbread snacks.
Yeah, I mean, our taste buds, I'm very sure, are very different, but
yeah,
I just remember even as a kid, I didn't care for the houses that much. The cookies are fine.
I thought they were amazing. I thought they were great. I think even when I was like a little bit older, when I had like the graham crackers, they're still pretty good. I like them, especially when it came to like s'mores and chocolate.
Graham crackers.
I only like graham crackers as the way to make cheesecake because that's what you use for the base. Is you use graham crackers.
Really?
Yeah.
You use graham crackers for cheesecake?
I haven't made cheesecake in a while, but I sort of know how to do it. But it involves graham crackers. You're supposed to crush them up and then use that as like the base for the the crust or whatever it is.
Freaking Dean like just like popping in and out of existence.
Yeah, you crush it. You crush it, and then mix it with like your typical eggs, your milk.
Got you.
Yeah, you use graham crackers, right?
I was legit imagining like a literal base, like you put at the bottom of the cake for some reason. Like, all right,
that's what I thought it was. There's a ghost cat.
There's two. Holy shit!
Yeah, if I put my hands there, you'll see them both.
It looks like one of those memes where like there's like they like fade in and out of existence.
Yeah. They're not really there. They're just the ghost of two cats.
It's like meme material right there.
Yeah.
But I was talking to one of my friends this week, and then we were talking about gingerbread houses, and then he told me that in his elementary school, because in elementary you get to do a lot of fun kid shit, right?
Yeah.
You have to make a gingerbread house, but with his school, they're like, oh, for your gingerbread house, we'll be using milk cartons instead. So they built the house out of milk cartons.
What?
And I'm just like,
wait, no graham crackers?
No gingerbread or nothing. Yeah, they use for the house. They use a milk carton, and I'm just thinking, holy fuck, they scabbed you kids because they're like waving the. To me, it seemed like they were like waving the milk carton, like this is a gingerbread house. This is a gingerbread house, and the kids are like, oh, okay, and yeah, that's what they use. They didn't layer gingerbread over it or anything, because maybe you can use the carton that's like, oh, this is just what's the word, like a mold or something.
I guess it does low key make sense because like a milk carton already has like that like slanted roof sort of thing.
But they didn't use gingerbread to mold over it or anything. They just gave them the milk cartons like pretend this is gingerbread like what like them like
glue
the budget
some decorations on top.
Yeah.
The budget must have been destroyed. Yeah,
it must have been really bad. That sucks. Cause I remember all of my like elementary school classes. We had graham crackers and legit gingerbread houses. I was terrible at it. I sucked at it. My creations always like fell apart. They were like not structurally sound.
Yeah, I'm terrible with crafts and shit, dude. Like when it came to like the
Philippines didn't have that.
No.
Didn't have like what?
Gingerbread making. Gingerbread making.
I mean, my school didn't have it either, but I mean, we did kind of have it, but it was more like it was like for kids, so you can't really fuck it up, because the kids are dumb. They're not gonna figure out how to make gingerbread and do it from scratch. They're just like, all right, you get 4 pieces of gingerbread, and that's the 4 walls of the house, and that's about it.
Honestly, I didn't really try to build my houses really well. Once I figured out that I'm like, man, I kind of suck at this, I would just like get a piece at the beginning, try to build it, then like within a couple minutes give up. I'm like, all right, I'm just like spray. I'm just putting the frosting on top and just like eating the crackers. I'm just eating. Every now and then I'm just like half the time I'm just eating, so I wouldn't have enough structure left because like I ate half the building materials.
That's what I would be doing. I'd be like, free food. Yeah.
Free food. I'm like, screw this. This sucks. I can't build. It always looks terrible every year, so I'm just eat instead and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think when we made our gingerbread houses in elementary, they just gave us like the walls, the little like ceiling, and then like a gingerbread man, and like, okay, here's some M&Ms, just put the M&Ms on it, and then this is what we did. We're like, we thought we were like engineers, but all we did was just like assemble like 4 Legos together, really. But it's kind of cool, I guess. And to hear that like his school didn't even bother with that, they're just like, yeah, no cartons. It just made me sad for his entire school district, I mean, I guess it was our school district because it's in our area, so I guess that's a. I don't know if you guys had that in your elementary school, Paul, but I was just RNG for him. I guess he just got screwed. Just like those little things,
No, we were pretty good. It reminds me of like a freaking thing they did for us like in kindergarten, which was like kind of dope when you're a little kid, and then you realize like, wait a minute, they tricked us. What was that they when we built our first gingerbread men ever, and then I guess at one point when we came back from like we put the decorations on, we had our own individual gingerbread men per kid, and then we went to go lunch or for recess, and then we came back and we were like, oh man, let's go look at the gingerbread men, and they told us that the gingerbread men were gone and that they got up, walked, and ran away. And we're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I was like, shit, I was gonna eat those. And then they took the entire class and on like a witch hunt around the school, asking like the older kids, they're like, hey, have you seen these gingerbread men? And the third graders like, no, but like we don't care. I remember like third or even like first graders looked like adults to me at that age. Like they're like so
that's what
big.
it seemed like. Because I'm sorry to interrupt, but I remember because I was in a homework club where you go after school to do your homework and you get help and shit. Because I never did my homework at an early age, and then so I had to go there, and then so the sixth graders there were fucking massive. They're like, they seemed like they were like 30 to me, and I was just like, wow, that's a big kid. And then for me, I was growing up, I was always like the shortest kid. Mm-hmm. So even people in my own grade were massive than me. Not massive, but they're like noticeably bigger than me. And I was just like, damn, I feel like a shrimp. And then it wasn't until like high school where I went through puberty where like I just started darting above people, which was great, a great feeling because all of my educational experience before then, I was just always a small kid, and that sucked.
I am a giant.
That's why I sprouted, and now I'm taller than all of you guys, which is great, except Ron, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you just like went from like last to like second place in like Mario Kart, from like a blue shell all of a sudden, or like some kind of like power up.
I just got the bullet bill thing, and I just like crashed into like five of you guys.
The rest of us were like doing well consistently. We're like cruising along, like all right, and then all of a sudden, just like I'm gonna fuck this entire race up and hit second place. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Damn you, RNG.
When I was like sprouting, I thought I had a chance to pass Ron, or at least be like comparable to Ron, but I'm not. I think I'm still like a few inches off, which obviously at this point, it's the game's over.
It's pretty much done, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not happening, but I did get pretty far, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, sometimes every now and then I have like a slight height complex, especially when I was like a little bit younger, but I've like come to accept it. I'm like 5'7", 5'8", I'll take it.
I didn't hit 5 feet until high school. Isn't that sad? Like in 8th grade, I was like 4'11", and I was like so close to 5 feet.
You're a dwarf, man.
And I was like during the early first few months of freshman year, I was like finally hitting 5 feet, which was kind of unfortunate. And then I got lucky after that. Or genetics, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, kids when I was younger are always bigger than me, especially like the 5th and 6th graders when I was in like in 3rd grade.
So yeah, as I was continuing with my story, the older kids were like, "No, we didn't see no gingerbread men. They probably ran off to that classroom or that direction." We're like, "Okay." Us little kids like, "Okay, let's go look." And we looked around, found nothing. We're disappointed. We're like, "Man, that sucks. We get no food." I was so disappointed because I was hungry. I wanted to eat those because they smelled so good. We came back to the classroom. All the gingerbread men were there, and they were fully cooked. So I think they probably just spent the time cooking the gingerbread men and just told us they just weren't ready yet. And we're like, all right, go on a wild goose chase. And that's what happened.
Go for a witch hunt.
You know what? At those times, those are magical moments. As you get older, they're still slightly magical, but you're like, all right, I understand the logic behind that. So I had a dope kindergarten class. I enjoyed it. My time there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what stories I've told, but in kindergarten, I was like a shithead. I think I already told this story on stream actually. I'll tell it. Yeah. I think I already told a story on stream where my teacher would ask us to draw stuff, and I just kept drawing Spider-Man over and over.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was your favorite superhero.
Yeah, which I still like. I already said this before as well, but I still like Spider-Man more than the other heroes today, even. And yeah, but yeah. Another thing. Well, I mean, we can also talk about this next week, but since it's on my mind now, we can just talk about this now. How do you guys feel about like Christmas jingles like popping up like this?
I hate it. I hate it. Absolutely despise it. Every year, for like the longest time. I can't stand it. There's like very little Christmas jingles that I actually like. And it's probably like that one instrumental one that's like you know that one. That one. Like the epic sounding one that's like kind of creepy sounding. That's the only Christmas jingle song that I like. But I don't even think that counts as a jingle because it's not jingly.
Is the other one that's like Paul's nuts are gone, Paul's nuts are gone, Paul's nuts are gone, like that?
Yeah, Paul's nuts are gone. Yeah, exactly that one. You know what I'm talking
about. I don't know the lyrics, but yeah, I think I know.
I don't know what the lyrics are, but yeah, exactly that one. You know what I'm talking about. Exactly. Yeah.
I just know the Family Guy version a little bit.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I forgot they made their own version of that.
That's the only Christmas song that I like. Everything else is like buns. I'm like, I don't care for this. Especially like, I rant about this like every year. I probably even like ranted about this like last year. With like the whole song is like, last Christmas I gave you my heart. The very next day you gave it away.
Hey, shut up.
Fuck you. That song bops, bro.
No, I don't care about the bop.
It bops.
That lyric is like stupid because every year it's the exact same thing. Like, last year I fucked up and I got my heart broken, so I'm gonna do the different thing next year. And then they sing the same song again next year.
Wait till you do it. Wait till you do it. Wait till you get heartbroken at Christmas. How dare you?
That was the Candygram song, and when people came in and they would give the Candygram, I'm like, damn, all right, I'm down for this. Not only are we getting time off of class for like a minute, but I get to hear bop. It's one of the better Christmas songs. What do you mean?
Yeah, it is one of the best.
I never had that. I have no clue what you're talking about.
That Jingle Bell Rock
on Christmas.
No, I haven't, and I don't care. I don't care. That song is like awful.
Feliz Navidad, also a bop.
It is a...
What?
Feliz Navidad?
Feliz Navidad is low-key kind of a bop, yeah.
Yeah. And
it is a bop.
Jingle Bell Rock is a bop, too?
It's hit or miss for me, depending on my mood. But if they, if they play it too much, how they do, a bunch of a lot of jingles, alright, I don't care. It pisses... It sends me into a rage. Especially back when I worked at, Lowe's a couple years ago.
You know what that is for me, though? Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer. I cannot stand that one.
Yeah, that too. I remember looking forward to, watching, Christmas movies every year, though, when I was younger. When I was a kid. Back before I had...
like Rudolph, and then, what's another movie? Grandma get hit by a reindeer?
Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Every single year without fail. Every single year, it was always commercials of that.
I actually really like that movie.
That, I would always, enjoy, the scene of, Charlie Brown stuff, the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that.
I never cared for Charlie Brown.
Didn't care for Charlie Brown?
When I was a kid, when we played it in the classroom, I would just, I sleep. Give me more anything else, really. Just fucking put anything else. I would rather play a RuneScape Christmas event and slave away to get that Christmas outfit than watching a goddamn Charlie Brown special.
I don't know if they've done a Christmas event yet in RuneScape yet. I do know that they've
I don't know if they do it anymore, but back then that's what I was looking forward to every Christmas.
I know there was a Halloween one this year that was kind of fun. But
I just prefer the Christmas ones over the Halloween ones.
Yeah.
They did what? Christmas, Halloween, and Easter? Was it the three? Or is there anything else I'm missing?
I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah. The Christmas ones are always the most. And
the Christmas ones are always the most fun. And I didn't get back into playing RuneScape until this year. So I don't know. But I have not seen any signs of a Christmas event yet, even though it's 10 days away.
I mean, I don't do them anymore. But when I was 10 or 12, those are the shit I was looking forward to. I mean, back when RuneScape had a player base, that was the shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still consistently playing right now. I legit logged off
but it's not the same though. The player base back then, it was so massive that you felt really compelled to do it, and now the player base is I mean, it's still massive compared to other MMOs.
I don't care about the player base. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about my enjoyment. All right, and I'm a quest guy. I do the quests. I count as the holiday events as quests. So I do it.
Oh, I used to pay attention to those when I was a kid. Now I just hold spacebar, just skip through them. Not the events, I don't do them anymore, but quests in general, I just hold spacebar.
Yeah, I do it for the fun. And so far, there hasn't been any Christmas event yet, if it's going to pop. All they've done so far is just, like, coated the entire map with, like, snow. And even the spots that don't make sense for there to be snow, like sandy areas. I haven't been to the desert yet. But if there's, like, snow in the desert, I'm like, no, I should probably go check. But if there is, I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? What is this? Why is there snow here? But it's kind of annoying me because I'm getting tired of like seeing everything's just white, the exact same landscape. Like it's like I need variation. All right, I need some green. I need some brown. Everything's just white. So.
Oh, another Christmas thing. How do you guys feel about candy canes? Because I never cared for those. I like peppermint shit. Like I like the little peppermint candies and shit, like the little brown ones. But the candy canes, I fucking hated those, no matter what flavor they were.
I didn't hate them. I like making a shank out of them. You know. That was the best part for me. I hate when they deviate from the peppermint flavor because it's just nasty.
There was like a green peppermint, I remember, like instead of like red, of like green, like stripes. Which I didn't really care
There's like
for.
different variations. There's like a blueberry. I think I had a blueberry one once. The thing I can't stand is like the shape most of all because like if you're eating like a lollipop, it's all like concentrated in one area. But with a candy cane, it's like literally the whole thing. You you have to like the hook is really fucking annoying to fucking try to eat too. You can't just bite it because it's not something you can just bite easily. So I think the candy cane is just suboptimal all the way around.
That's actually how I ate the candy canes.
You bite them? Animal.
I bit them because I'm a little kid. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, lick them? Is that how you're supposed to eat candy canes? Just lick them? Like a lollipop? You just, like, let it, like, sit in your mouth?
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to eat them. Like, if you can bite them, it just fucks up your teeth. And it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to bite into either.
That's probably why I need braces, like, really early on, because I just bit all the candy canes. Like, I'm like, if I had the chance to, like, even, like, with a lollipop when I was a kid, like, I'd probably bite it. That's what I'd probably do. But if it's like,
just chew it like,
definitely, yeah, because this is boring. All right, this is like I have stuff to do. I have like Legos to play with.
That's why
just like old people let it sit in their mouth. All right, I bite my candy, and candy canes are like no exception. So
that's why I hate hard candies in general because you can't like if you bite them, you fuck up your teeth, and then if you don't bite them, they take forever. So like there's just downsides all around. And candy canes are worst of all because the shape's awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the. This is probably like an only issue I ran into just because I bit the candy canes. I just didn't like how afterwards there's like that sticky candy stuff that like gets left behind on the side of your teeth after you're just biting. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've made my parents waste so much money on fixing my braces when I was a little kid that when I look back on it now I feel bad just because like I was told multiple times like don't bite hard stuff like candy or ice with your braces on because you're gonna break it, and I was like I don't care, I'll do it anyways because I like it. And that's probably like why I'd wear braces for so long, all the way from like the 4th grade up until like sophomore year of high school. I wore it for so long just because I kept breaking it. I was like,
I mean, it did come across as in the way you talk too, because I remember. I mean, it's different now. Now you haven't had braces for a while, but I remember in high school you spoke like in a certain way. It was kind of lispy, like it was like kind of like you had braces before. And obviously, but when I met you, you didn't have braces because you said you got them off sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
I just remember the way you were talking. It was like you had something in your mouth all the time, and even though you had them removed, you're just so used to talking that way, I guess.
Penis in his mouth.
I slammed my penis in the car door.
But yeah, like and people I didn't notice till later on when I got older that I can sort of tell if someone had braces before based on how they speak. The longer it's been since they had braces, the more it changes. Obviously, like you don't have as much of it now, or
not as much. But I still reckon I still have like
some of it,
a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah, a little bit, but it was a lot stronger when I first met you compared to now.
Yeah, I'm still very self-conscious about the lisp I have, and just like, especially when I listen to recordings, like, that sounds terrible. Like, I know people like shudder at the sound of their own voice. For me, it's like I've gotten used to that. Now it's just like every time I speak, I hear lisp. Like in my head, I sound perfectly clear. I don't have to like focus on like trying to like properly enunciate my words. But when I listen to myself like in recordings, it sounds terrible. I'm like,
I mean, I also cringe at myself, but it's not as much as it was at the beginning. Because I remember at the beginning, I would like listen to myself, see what it sounded like, and I would like have like little that I didn't even realize I said like in between my words. Or like I mean a stutter is something I've always had, but like when I would hear it, I don't recognize myself doing it while I'm doing it. But then when I listen to the VOD, it's a lot more noticeable. I'm gonna just cringe at that. But over time, I've gotten more and more used to me speaking. Not that I record myself all the time, but I do like a little bit of like voice training, which is why I can like do certain things with my voice.
Man's also debate bro, debate bro. This man here. Listens to debates all the time.
I also do them myself, but yeah,
exactly.
I don't know, it's something I just got more used to, I guess.
Yeah, I've thought about like doing like voice training, or even like once I have money again, probably try to like maybe one day like hire like a voice coach or something, just like help me like get rid of this lisp, because like when I hear myself speak like on a regular basis, I sound perfectly fine, but I realize that it's not how I hear myself is not the same how other people hear me. So I want to like fix that, because it's like a slight insecurity I got, and like
it's not for me. It's not insecurity, but something I was cringing more before was that my actual voice, the one that you guys hear, is a lot deeper than what I actually think I sound like as well. Like for me, when I talk, I think I'm like very average pitch. But then when I hear myself in recordings, I'm like I think I sound like this. But then when I watch the recording, I sound like this, and it's just like it's like really jarring to me at first. But then I got used to it.
My name's Vin Diesel.
Yeah. But yeah. Another thing that's interesting about the way that we speak, like all of us in general, and like the three of us in general, is that this is more like a social thing, but men speak a lot more monotonely. When we speak, our voice never fluctuates; it just stays a one consistent tone. Like right now, I'm speaking very monotonely. I don't do a lot of inflection or anything like that. But whereas with women, since they're in society, they're expected to be a lot more emotional and stuff. They're allowed to be more emotive with their speaking. So when girls speak, they talk like this, and then like then they go from here all the way to there, and it's like totally like really all over the place, and it's not really monotone like the way that we speak.
Damn whammons.
And with men, we talk like this, where it's just like one tone the entire time. I'm not sure this is something you guys noticed before, but it just like if you were to listen to two people talk to each other, or two men, cis men talk to each other, they talk like robots basically. And then when you listen to two girls talk to each other, they're a lot more, expressive with how they speak.
Low-key, I've kind of noticed that, but it's not something it's like on the forefront of my mind. It's just like once you like mention it, it's like, oh, okay, I think I've kind of noticed that.
Yeah. And with me, just the thing that's with me is that I noticed the like something I do a lot is I notice the way people speak and the way people like use certain words or the way they would misspeak. Like for me, for example, I would catch Jeffrey saying like monster or Ron saying dirt instead of dirt. Like Ron says dirt instead of dirt. Like those sort of things I catch on. I don't know why. It's just something I guess it's something I'm just naturally like and able to pick up on, I guess.
Are there like you think those like words that they know they're mispronouncing, or
I don't think I think it's just how they naturally like say the word. They don't catch themselves doing it. Yeah. And I think most people don't catch up on that, but I just happen to pick those words.
I was going to ask, like, do you know if there's any words that you got that are like that you don't pronounce correctly?
I'm sure there are, but I not to diss them, but I'm pretty literate, so I am able to like understand. If I know, if I heard
Neanderthals, I can read.
If I've heard the word, if I've heard the word being used before, I'll be able to pick up on like like if you were to describe a word I haven't seen before, if I were to read a word I haven't seen before, obviously I have no way of knowing how to pronounce it. Like with English, sometimes you pronounce A, the way you pronounce A is like 5 different ways. Mm-hmm. But if I hear it once or twice and I start using it in my vocabulary, then I'll get it down. Like at least I would hope so for the most part.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, some things are also like tomato sort of things as well. So that's not really.
Sometimes like it's a regional accent or
that
sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Going back to that reading thing is like kind of like the same thing ever since I started doing French. It's just like how like some letters have like that accent on top. Like for example, the letter E, like lowercase e has an accent on top. I'm like before when I would see that, or like even like some English words, like I have a hard time reading or pronouncing. Holy shit! I just brain farting on. Is it pronounced? Yeah, it's pronounced. How to pronounce that word or read that word. Now I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand the origin of that. That's a little side tangent there. But yeah, I don't remember. Like amongst the three of us, do you guys know if like any words that any three of us like say incorrectly, or just like say it weird?
Yes, these.
For the three of us.
Yeah.
No, Dean, no. Don't count.
I mean, for you, Paul, I think from what I've noticed, it's mostly like a little lisp sort of thing.
All right, that's.
With Dean, I don't think he mispronounces anything, but he has a certain way of telling jokes that is unique to him instead of us.
That is very true.
I sometimes copy, like yes, get shit done. He's the only one that makes jokes like that. No one else makes jokes like that.
Dean's got that funny charisma.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of. He says words and I can't help but laugh.
I can make funny.
And with me right now I'm speaking through my diaphragm rather than my throat. So like it's why I sound like a little. I don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but it might sound a little different than how I would speak in person. But
more announcy.
Yeah, it comes from my diaphragm right now, so it's a lot more like more strength to it, I guess. Although it's not something you should do all the time, because if you speak from your diaphragm all the time, it's it's gonna hurt your vocal cords. But
I should do that for right now. Especially
but when you speak with your diaphragm, you actually strengthen your vocal cords. Like it's like because the vocal cords are like a muscle. If you never use it when you speak, it's not gonna be very strong. But then when you practice using your diaphragm, for small periods of time, you'll strengthen it, and then it'll become stronger. So when you do stuff like singing, for example, I have never been a good singer. I'm still not, but I think I've gotten better, mostly because I've learned how to use my diaphragm a little bit better.
Yeah,
that's the diaphragm thing is pretty neat. It's just something you just use to if you're like giving a presentation, it can make you sound more authoritative, I guess. Like, there's some benefits to that as well.
What's the diaphragm thing? Also, another thing you mentioned to like probably like try to like lower the amount of my lisp a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's something you can also use. Yeah,
I think I did that for a little bit, and then I just got tired of it. I'm like, this sounds like a lot of work.
It's a muscle. It's like if you never work out, if you haven't worked out for a year and you try to go for a run, you're not gonna be able to maintain that stamina. But if you do it consistently, like just a little bit at a time, you'll eventually like improve your stamina with running, like you would with your vocal cords if you're just speaking through your diaphragm.
Yeah, the thing is that it's something I have to actively try to do, like actively think about doing.
Region 5 says hi.
What's up, Kenny? Passively.
Yeah. It's something that you have to do more actively. I don't just passively talk on my diaphragm. That's just not something that people do. So, but for the podcast, I like practicing using my diaphragm because it's a lot more, just to train the muscle, I guess.
How long have you been doing this for?
I mean, in person, I don't do it because it's like it's
meant for the podcast. For the podcast,
every now and then. Like for this episode, I'm doing it, but sometimes I just don't want to do it. Okay. You can tell when I'm doing it and when I'm not. If you were to go back, based on like how I'm speaking, like right now I'm speaking a lot more, in a certain way compared to when I'm just speaking normally. Yeah.
Do you do it like for the entire episode, or do you just like go on and off?
Sometimes I get tired doing it, so. Right now,
cool. I don't feel bad now.
This is just me talking with my throat right now. So
I'm feeling tired. I'm like, oh, this is like a lot of work.
Yeah, this is me talking with my throat right now, and then sometimes I go back to this. Sometimes I go back to using my diaphragm. It's like like
okay, yeah. There's like a noticeable difference.
Yeah, and then with your diaphragm, you can like manipulate your tone a lot more. So if I talk like this, I can talk a lot more deeply. If I were to raise it down, or I can talk a lot more high pitch if I were to bring it up here.
You ever thought about becoming a voice actor, Jim?
A voice actor?
Voice acting? Yeah.
That's something I think I could be good at, but it's not really an industry that's really easy to get into. I would imagine anyway.
Probably, yeah.
But I can see myself doing it. I just need to get a hookup from like Lily Pichu or something,
I know, right? I can't do it because I can't read. I am monkey for life.
You're illiterate, is what you are.
No, monkey can read. I promise.
Reading too hard.
It just takes a while. It takes a while.
Do you skip all the dialogue when you like play games? Are you that type of guy? Or do you like read the story?
Depends. If it's a new game, I'll probably just like read it. It's like it's part of the story. But if it's something I played, like I played GTA 5 before, and I'm just like, all right, fuck this. I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, for me, it really depends on the game. Because most of the time when I'm playing a game for the story, I'm gonna be not skipping the dialogue, obviously. So if like Fire Emblem or for example, that has voice acting, I would like watch the cutscenes because I want to know why I'm on this map trying to fucking break into a castle or some shit, But then with a game where like I find out that the story's trash, I'm just playing there for the gameplay, like Fire Emblem Conquest, where I would still pay attention, but I just don't care. But some games I just skip. It just depends. But I'm more of a story-based gamer myself. I just enjoy I like having a reason to go through the gameplay.
Got you.
So this is my preference. Yeah. But RuneScape, like I said, I don't care for the story about that. I just hold spacebar.
I'm fortunate in that I do. There's not like a consistent story in RuneScape. It's just like there's like some major quest lines, but for the most part, they're like mostly like scattered apart. So, but I still enjoy reading. For the most part, even in like stuff I don't enjoy the story of, I still read the story, even if it's like a game I've played before, which is weird, but I still do it. I enjoy it. It just feels wrong skipping. I don't know why, even though it's not. It feels weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, the story's bad. Like, I don't see a reason for you to push through it. It's
the only time I would skip is like if it's like one of those like the checkpoint is like behind the cutscene, and I have to like watch the cutscene over and over every time I die, especially after a boss fight. I'm like, all right, I'm skipping. All right, I've watched this like 20 times. I think I put in my time. I spent 20 years here in Azkaban. I'm not going to do it anymore.
What about when we played Terra? Did you skip the cutscenes for that? Because that's what I did. I did not give a fuck about the story.
I watched the cutscenes. I skipped reading all the pop-ups that popped up on our screen every time we were questing everywhere. Okay? I'm trying to play a game. I'm not trying to read a novel and fight bad guys at the same time and have a new novel pop up every time I killed something. Like, oh,
I wonder how that game is doing. I imagine it's still alive, but I remember like when we were playing, there was like 5 servers. I think they shut some of those down now.
Was that only that little servers?
I think it was like 5. Yeah. Now I wonder how many there are now. Cause
I'm pretty sure it's under new management. Kind of.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's still alive. Like it was like the game was fun enough to where I can imagine it still having like a steady player base. At least.
That was around the time when we were trying to find an MMO to play.
Yeah. There's only 2 now in NA. Wow. Yeah, we went from 5 to 2.
Yeah. Not too surprising. The only major like I don't even know if it's classified as an MMO because I don't play. Like I think the biggest one right now would probably be like Genshin. Right now,
is it? Because I know WoW's been holding the crown for a while.
My younger sister plays it, but I don't play it, so I wouldn't know if it counts as an MMO.
Genshin Impact's a weird one because it's not MMO in the sense that you go and you play with other players and interact with them.
It's an RPG.
It's an RPG.
Yeah. And I think you could definitely play with other people.
But you don't play with other people though, right? So like even if a lot of people play, you're not interacting with other people as like the distinction.
I think you go to like other player houses. I think.
I thought there was co-op for these.
It's probably like co-op.
Yeah.
I don't think we're.
Oh, okay. Right now, number 1 is Final Fantasy 14.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be below WoW, honestly.
No, it's because like what happened relatively recently. It's got a lot of WoW players got upset at Blizzard, especially with the whole like, sexual harassment thing. That and WoW going in like a terrible direction. So a lot of WoW players actually migrated to Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know. I don't keep up with this world, but FF14 is number 1.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to a couple like WoW YouTubers back when I still played, and even when they stopped doing WoW content, I just stayed for the personality. But they brought it up and was like, a lot of people are like going over to like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy has 3.38 million, and then below Final Fantasy 14 is old school RuneScape 1.27 million. So
I play that game.
So yeah, the second place RuneScape is 2 million players behind FF14. So that's a pretty big drop off. Yeah, and then below that it's WoW at 1.11 million, so it's like a little bit below RuneScape. And then Path of Exile, New World, which is the Amazon MMO, Destiny 2. After that, Warframe, WoW Classic, Star Citizen, RuneScape. Yeah, after that it gets in like the 6 digits. After that, after WoW anyway. Path of Exile is close though, but yeah. And so Genshin is not listed here at all, so it's not considered an MMO.
Got you.
Yeah.
It's considered RPG.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. All right, I guess it makes sense. But if it were, I imagine Genshin would probably be pretty high up on that list.
Oh yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
In Gacha.
I would think maybe either second place or first place for Genshin if it were included here for sure.
Yeah. I think it would probably be like first place spot. I don't know how many players are in Genshin.
I have no clue why there, but it is a very popular game.
It is very popular.
I would imagine second or first easily. Yeah.
We played a little bit of Final Fantasy as well before. We were playing the free trial. We had like a good time with it until we realized that apparently in the free trial you can't add people.
It's not even that you can't party up with your friends. You can't add them to your friends list. It's like one of the dumbest things for like a free trial thing, Because if you want to hook people in with a free trial, because it's like, oh hey, this is the free version and you can play up to this level, do whatever you want, and then you come across a player that you think it's cool, you can't add them to your friends list. It's just like the friends list thing would want you to want to get the game more because you find a player or a guild that you're cool with, and then that makes you want to spend money on the game. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that was a couple years ago. I don't know if they changed that or if it's still like the same.
It's possible it's changed, but like when we were trying it out, it wasn't the case, and that's why we never got into it.
This was years ago. We're like pretty close to like doing it until that popped up, and the biggest struggle was just trying to find each other because based on like the class you picked, like we would start in like different starter cities, and when you're like a low level to a new game, we're like, I don't know how to get anywhere. Apparently there's like airships or something, but I didn't know where the airships were. I remember like looking at the maps and just getting like so lost and like I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
I remember actual players that were like really friendly during that time, and the case is still the same today because I remember a lot of WoW players. The biggest thing they talk about when they switch over from WoW to like Final Fantasy is like, wow, the Final Fantasy community is like far less toxic than it is in WoW.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I think it's because like in Final Fantasy they actually like crack down on toxicity.
Oh, okay.
So
makes sense.
Yeah. So if you're like in a raid or like a dungeon and you're like telling people like to hurry up or like you're just like being toxic, like you get banned pretty quick. And people are like, yeah, we don't do that here.
I want my rogue to turn into ninja.
And apparently like even like some world events, like if there's like a massive like boss that's happening that's like that gets like a really rare drop, in like WoW people are like, oh shit, there it is, here's my opportunity, I'm gonna go get it. But in like Final Fantasy apparently everyone's like, alright, everyone get into like the same chat room. We're all going to wait, and we're going to attack it at the same time and see who gets it. All right, no one jumps ahead. All right, because that's a dick move, and everyone apparently agrees to that, which is mind-boggling.
Like community.
That sounds like a community. Everyone's like really nice to each other. Like the rule is don't be an asshole, and even if you're bad at the game, don't be an asshole to the new people. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, from what I see, they have pretty good updates too. They're always adding like new I forget it was jobs or classes, whatever the term is for their thing. They're always adding new classes and shit that you can do. And the nice thing about FF that I liked over WoW was that if you want to be a different class, you don't have to make a new character. Or if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But with FF14, you can just try out every single job on one character without, having to start over from nothing.
Wasn't that something that was unique to Final Fantasy, though?
Yeah. And that's the thing I really enjoyed.
Like in other MMOs, it's not just WoW. Like, there's also pretty much the same thing that once you, like, pick a class, you're, like, stuck with that class.
Yeah.
Well, I'm comparing it to because they're both massive, and also the combat system is very similar as well. I remember, like, when I was playing Terra, I really enjoyed the combat system in Terra, but then the rest of the game was terrible. The party and raids and stuff were cool, I guess, but then everything else was pretty terrible. And
all those pop-ups, man.
And we were playing FF14 after that. When we were playing FF14, it felt like a downgrade combat-wise, but like the other aspects were really cool. I enjoyed the class system. I enjoyed like the whole thing. The friends thing is really unfortunate, but that I enjoyed about FF14. And then when I played WoW with you, Paul. When I was like being a noob, I didn't get the same enjoyment as F14 because of the whole class thing. I guess it felt like I was like more limited with what I chose, and that I didn't enjoy as much.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but then after playing those and a few other MMOs, I've tried out Black Desert with other friends like years ago, and I started to think like I would never get that MMO craving back or that satisfaction again because I always try different MMOs and every time I'm just like, this ain't RuneScape because I keep thinking about when I was like 12 playing RuneScape, just progressing all the time because RuneScape's all about progressing. You just go from level 51 to 52, then 53, then you just keep unlocking stuff until you're like 99. You get the skill cape, and you get the flex. But then
it's that nostalgia factor because I had the same thing happen with like RuneScape and to an extent the same thing with WoW because even though I didn't have like an actual WoW account, I remember they'd do like 10-day free trials, and I would just like make fake emails just to like play WoW, just because I couldn't afford to play WoW properly. Heck, I couldn't even afford to like play RuneScape membership on a regular basis. Like I would like send like $5 bills to like Jagex to like, hey, could I get like membership for a month, please? Thank you. Signed, Paul, with his like shit handwriting.
Yeah, and because the RuneScape, the thing I really enjoyed at the time, back in its peak, which I guess people can argue that it had different peaks, but when I was playing it, like it was like massive player base. There was like people everywhere. Like if you wanted to do like PvP stuff, there's PvP stuff. Mm-hmm. If you want to do like risky PvP stuff, there's that for those guys. There's PvE stuff for PvE players, but there's always people you talk to, always people you interact with, people you make friends with. But now the game still exists, like the old school version, but the massive drop in player base in each world and interaction, all that made me not enjoy the game as much, which is why now, even though I can recognize the faults it has now, like for example, the combat is super repetitive. It's just right click, anything else in the game, right click, or left click. The game is not very mechanically intensive. It's kind of boring, but at least back then you had the social aspect, which was good at the time. And that's the thing. That's the thing I always crave now from whenever I think about like, damn, I should get into MMO because you watch anime or you just one night you're laying in bed thinking about back then when you played RuneScape or WoW or whatever your MMO was, and you're like, damn, I want that back. But then like every time I try a new one, I just never get that feeling back, and so I just eventually not drop the game, which sucks because MMOs in general aren't like they're a dead genre really. Like it's a dead genre. Like MMOs aren't being released like they used to. Like the newest one was New World, but then people people aren't like playing that in mass, you know.
Is there like any video game genre right now that's like mostly in? Because
I don't know what it is right now. Because the last one, I think the last big genre wave was the battle royale genre. That was the last big one.
Exactly. And there would always be like this like wave of like genres that would be in for a couple months to like maybe a couple years. But right now, I don't really know what that is. It's
I
like
don't know. Yeah.
hero shooters, I guess.
Tactical
Not tactical.
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm not talking like like Overwatch hero.
I'm talking like Valorant.
It's more like shooters with abilities or like specialists, like similar to like what Battlefield 2042 tried to do, but it's like it's like
oh yeah. No, I got what you mean. Like Rainbow Six has that. Valorant.
Yeah,
like, I get what you
Six,
mean. I get what you mean.
Freaking Dean and I were talking about this yesterday when we were talking about like, oh, there's another battle royale, Super People, that looks exactly like PUBG, but there's a class system in that one instead. But PUBG,
I don't know if that's the meta right now, because we're in a weird spot because of COVID and everything. Spot. But I feel like we could, if it is going to that, we're in like the transition period where it's like it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened like fully yet.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that.
Yeah, but that's if we're going with like shooters with abilities, or whatever the name for that's going to be. Tactical shooters, is that the name?
I wouldn't say tactical shooters. No.
Yeah, so whatever the name is going to be, if that's going to happen, yeah, but I guess we'll see more soon. Right now, I feel like Valorant kind of dominates that, because Overwatch is has fallen off throughout the years.
Fallen off hard. Yeah.
Rainbow Six, like it's more like a niche player base, not like a very
it's very
mainstream one.
Yeah.
Valorant feels like it's the one that people like could jump into easily and just kind of pick up, and do okay,
Which still low key like blows my mind, because it's very similar gameplay to Counter-Strike, which is like famously known as the hard FPS that requires a lot of skill to play.
Yeah,
I think it's like due to the fact that Valorant is free to play is what adds to that player base. If like
I think the art style is also easy for people, like anybody to jump into. Like if you're a hardcore shooting like FPS guy, you don't care about the graphics, you care about the gameplay. But if you're like a newbie, you just want a game that looks pretty, and Valorant does that.
Yeah. It has like that low cartoony art style that I like. Is very similar to like it was similar to Overwatch, which was similar to like TF2, which was the kind of like art style that I really enjoyed. I don't really care for like super ultra realistic looking art style, in the same vein that I'm not really into like very anime-ish looking art styles, which is I've come to realize like a couple of days ago, which is kind of weird, that I enjoy watching anime. I, however, do not enjoy playing very anime-ish looking games. For
me, I can agree with most part. Like for example, Fire Emblem is a pretty anime game, like the newer ones.
That's the one
I still enjoyed that. Yeah. I've enjoyed Persona, which I guess the anime games I like are like the ones that deviate more from the standard anime thing. Like the standard anime thing, when I think of that, I think of like the Genshin art style. Like that's what I think of.
Yeah.
That I'm not drawn to as much. But with something that's more like hey, this is our series. We're gonna have our own art style that kind of is reminiscent of like the typical anime stuff, but has like like it's like our own unique style. That I'm more drawn to over like the Genshin Impacts of the world.
Yeah, I low key like Fire Emblem is very anime-ishy, but that's like you mostly see that anime art style when you're not doing active gameplays, like like more character based or like storyline based. But once you're actually playing the game, you're still, especially with the newer Fire Emblems, you definitely see that more anime influence, but still like kind of like a spritey, pixelaty a little bit to an extent. So it's like. I guess that's enough for my brain to like. It's like it's not that anime.
The thing I think I just don't like about anime is that this is the tropes, I guess. So when you see a lot of those tropes in the games, you just cringe because you're not suffering through just 20 minutes of an episode. You're there for like several hours, So but with Persona, a game where it takes like 100 hours to complete, I didn't mind that as much because it wasn't just it had the tropes, but they weren't like played at like super anime. Like it is, and then like I don't know, like Neptunia. I don't know. or
And
games.
That's why I've been hearing about like Persona. I've never played, don't intend to play, but I've heard a lot of good things about Persona.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those games where you do need a. It's not a game you can just get done in 20 hours. That's not possible. And like maybe if you skip literally everything, like all the combat stuff and all the story stuff, but like but it's a game. But it's a game that you're like. It's like a book that you read, but you play instead.
Like it's a JRPG, and JRPGs are infamously known for being very grindy.
Persona tricks you to grinding. That's the difference.
That's what I was about to say. They trick you into grinding, but it makes you think like you're not grinding, but you're actually grinding. But your brain is like, no, this is actually fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, from what I hear.
Yeah. That's the gist of it. Yeah, like with other JRPGs, like Final Fantasies is famous for this. You just grind like Dean can attest to this because I know he's played quite a few of them. The game is just grinding until you hit the next part of the story, and then even then, it's not like the story isn't like fantastic or anything, except for maybe like FF7, which looks cool. But yeah, that's just the thing about JRPGs in general, and that's why I can't get into too many of them. Some of the games I do enjoy, but sometimes the anime things does annoy me, but it depends, I guess. But going back to MMO is just like it's just I don't know, it's a lot harder. I feel like for people to get into because the genre is dead. Like I think after MMOs was like the RTS era with like StarCraft and shit and Warcraft, but that died, and then it came the MOBA era where it was like Dota and League and Heroes of the Storm, and everyone was making their own version. And now like League kind of dominates, and they just kind of use that MOBA money.
Yeah. It's because like Arcane in it.
Yeah. So League success brought them so much money because they sell skins and shit.
Yeah.
And then so it led them to make Valorant. So Riot Games also owns Valorant, which is probably the most played FPS game now. If I were to guess, I'm not sure if Fortnite still holds that, but I kind of doubt that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the money they make from both those games and other games as well, they have made like the KDA stuff, like the K-pop stuff, which got really popular as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made Arcane, which is like one of the highest rated Netflix shows of all time, I think.
Definitely currently, I imagine.
Right now? Right now it's like one of the highest watched shows of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it seems I wonder if it's past Squid Game right now, because Squid Game was the last one everyone blew up.
Yeah. Everyone was talking about that. I still have not watched it.
Oh yeah. Arcane blew out Squid Game out of the water, apparently. Wow.
I am not surprised by that.
But yeah, Arcane, if no one knows what that means, it's like an animated series based off like characters in League, and it's like it's a series I do recommend watching if you don't know League, because it's not like a show where it's just like, hey, look at these characters, they're doing the things they do in the game. Look at that. It's just like they sell a story, and they do a really good job in telling the story as well. So and I think it does rightfully earn its place, even if I hate the game that it comes from. Well, I still play it. Yeah, so Paul, I would recommend it if you ever have the time. It's like 9 episodes, like I think 40 minutes each, so it's not like a big commitment or anything.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I suffer from whenever a new hot show comes out, and just like my excuse is like, I don't have Netflix, so like a lot of the things that pop up, like I just don't watch just because I physically can't, and I don't really care to get Netflix because
you don't use it enough. I get that.
I wouldn't use it off my friend.
I sponge off my friend because I don't watch Netflix often, but he pays for it every month, so I just whenever something comes up, I just watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I've been recommended to him. I was like, I don't really care enough to do that either.
Yeah, if you guys have Netflix, even if you guys never played League, I would recommend it. I think it's good. And people I know who don't like League or don't know League, they still enjoyed it. Even Dota players, like they preferred the League anime over the
Dota anime.
Over the Dota anime, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to learn there was like a Dota anime until like YouTube like recommended it on my homepage. I'm like, there's a Dota anime?
Yeah, one thing I think it's cool though is that they are adapting more video game stuff, and doing it well. Like I know Castlevania did that recently, and I hear good things about that.
I hear a lot of good things about that. The voice acting is also really good from the few clips I've seen of it. I'm like, this is actually pretty dope. I would love to watch this show. I just haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just skeptical. Like when I heard about Arcane, I was skeptical going in because like, it's like video game adaptations are like live action adaptations for me. It's like it's I don't expect much going in. But Arcane proved me wrong. I was like, all right, this is pretty good. Speaking of live adaptations, the Cowboy Bebop one. I'm not sure if you guys have watched that series, but
I've heard bad things about that.
Yeah, only bad things came from that.
It already got canceled, so they're not getting a second season, which sucks because I like John Cho, like the actor for the main character, but yeah, that series apparently bombed. So
yeah, I think
that's
not
the
way they did the series. Though, like,
have you seen the trailers though, right? The trailer looks pretty good. I was just like, oh, this might not be that bad, and then apparently it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not. I heard of it. I just never really got into it just because like I haven't even watched like the original Cowboy Bebop either.
For shame.
Well, I think people are just skeptical of live action in general. I think it all stems from Dragon Ball.
That's true.
It all stems from Dragon Ball Evolution. I think. I think everyone's hate for it came from Dragon Ball Evolution. It's just like stuck around.
So bad was the Rurouni Kenshin one.
They did the live action.
Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin.
Ooh. That
one wasn't too bad.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think the other big one that scarred everyone was the Death Note one. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so terrible.
It was so like it got so big because it's Death Note, and then like people are just trashing it. It's like, yeah, I wonder why, and then you watch it and like, okay, understandable.
Yeah, so Paul, I know you haven't watched this Death Note and you never will because you have cringe takes, but
yeah, let's go on.
The main character in the anime Death Note, he's like this sociopath, like I'm smarter than everyone else. I'm gonna outsmart the person who's like super smart trying to outsmart me, and he's like this, he has like no feelings. Everyone at school respects him because he's really smart and he's really like this top student and everything. But in his mind, he believes he's like always in the right and he doesn't give a fuck if people die if as long as he gets what he wants. And then in the live adaptation, they're like, all right, what if we make this character not only white but also he gets bullied by bullies at school and beat up, and then to show that he's really smart, we're gonna have him do the bullies' homework for them every single day. So he does their homework, and then like if you zoom in closely to the homework that he's doing for them, it's like basic multiplication. It was like, what's 2 times 4? And he's like doing that stuff for the bullies and shit.
Wow.
It's so bad.
It took fucking like nerd gets beat up by bullies.
And he takes revenge by having a Death Note. Like it just like it takes everything that makes Death Note great, because Death Note's not great not because of the storytelling, not just because of the storytelling, but because the main character is interesting. It's like it's not a typical main character where it's like, I'm a good guy and I'm only gonna do what's good. Like it's light in the anime. It's a lot more complicated than that. But in the live action, they're like, haha, he's a bullied nerd, lol.
Yeah, I know. If there was like 2 anime that Jim has been like telling me over the years to watch, and one of them I've already seen, like is like one is Death Note, and the other one was like that that poor god.
Noragami.
Noragami. There we go. I finally watched that. For the longest time, Jim was like, "Paul, watch Noragami." I'm like, "All right, I'll get to it." And for the longest time, I didn't get to it until I finally did, and I was like, "Yeah, it's good."
I recommend that show because it's like a solid show. I don't think it's a masterpiece or anything. I just think it's a show that does a lot of things really well. It's not like a masterpiece by any means.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a show. It does the job.
Yeah. I give that as a strong recommendation. So like, if people, it has a lot of elements that I think it does well, and then if people like that, they can try out other anime and shit. It's like it's just a strong recommendation I give. It's not like my go-to. Like, this is a masterpiece. You must watch this. This will change your life. It's not that. Death Note is more of that for me. But
I don't know. It felt weird because you just kept telling me like watch Noragami. I was like, why?
I mean, it has more to do with the fact that you just wouldn't. So I just kept saying like, just try it out, dude. Just try an episode.
That's so weird. It's
the thing about you is that you are very picky with like anything. That's why I think your movie and like your media takes are terrible because they're you don't try things. Like I remember you didn't like Bruce Almighty because it was set in 2005.
It was 2000.
It was set in 2005, so you just wrote off the whole movie. I was just like, damn, your takes are terrible.
What was Bruce Almighty again? That's one with like Morgan
Jim
Freeman?
Carrey becomes God for like some amount of time.
Oh, I think I was studying French at that time. Yeah, I think I was like studying for my French book at that time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't that interested. I just didn't care for the concept.
No, you wrote it off. I remember you saying because it was set in 2005, so it was set in 2000. So you were like, nah, this is shit. I sleep. And you also thought that Assassin anime was good. Like I told you it was shit.
It was good. It was good at the beginning. It was good at the beginning. All right.
It was destined to be shit from the beginning. That's what it was.
It had an interesting
you agree with me
because it had an interesting concept.
I have better media takes than you. And that's why you agree with me now that it's shit.
I don't care. It made me happy. That's all that matters.
You just liked it because the old man wasn't like a nerd in his previous life. That's the one thing that changed. That's the one thing that changed. That's what made you like it.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to see the concept. Even though I kind of knew where I was going, but I still wanted to see the concept, alright? It's like one of those, like, junk food, turn off my brain anime. I'm like, alright, I can get behind this. Alright? Is that too much to ask for, Jim?
No, it's shitty junk food. It's like asking for nachos. Okay, nachos aren't bad, but there's better junk food than nachos. That's what the Assassin anime was. Okay, it wasn't even nachos. It was just nachos was shit.
I enjoy good nachos.
But Assassin was the shitty nacho though. A good nacho is like ReZero. Okay, that's a good nacho. It's shitty in a lot of things.
Those are good nachos. Is there like another season that coming soon for ReZero?
I don't think it's announced.
Nothing confirmed yet.
Yeah, ReZero is in my mind is one of the better isekais, and like I think I've dumped on isekais enough on here. I think, unless I haven't.
I know you're not the biggest fan of like Mushoku Tensei. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, how do you feel? How do you feel about that one?
Mushoku Tensei. I'm not caught up with it right now because I know it's currently airing. But the part that made me not give it like a masterpiece rating is the pedophilia parts. That knocks it down a lot of points for me. It's unnecessary and like I get you're trying to sell him as a scumbag in the previous life and he's trying to reform, but I don't think I think you could have told that part better without the pedophilia.
Like I'm not going to go into like a massive debate because like technically yes it's pedophilia, but also technically no.
Yeah, yes it is. It's like if you were to go back in time.
I'm not going to go into the semantics of this, but it's I get what you're talking about because it also made me very uncomfortable too. I remember that one scene in the first season that I had to like pause multiple times and like stop. I'm like, no. I remember like getting like screaming in my room, like, no, stop, bro, stop doing this. This is weird. I know. Yeah, I totally get the feelings behind that, but
yeah,
I'm
not caught up. Maybe it gets better, but the part where I'm watching, I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's whatever. That's like even without the pedophilia parts, it's all right. I don't think there's anything special yet, unless there's something that comes up in like one of the new episodes. I might change my mind on that. But even without the pedophilia part, it's like whatever. Like the art's really nice, I guess. Like the animations like looks pretty and stuff, but it's okay. Like
I think from here on out, it's gonna be slow.
What's your thought?
Are you currently watching, Dean?
No, I'm not watching. I already read it.
He's a manga man.
Yeah.
So how would you know where they're at right now, though?
A clip.
Clips on you.
Yeah.
Oh.
You sometimes you get like spoiled inadvertently, and I'm like, fuck.
I hate those. It's like
I hate it.
I was reading this.
There's like some like just like some innocent areas where like you're not expecting to get spoiled, and then you just read a comment, and you're like, fuck, it's all ruined.
Yeah, that's how I felt about how Dean feels about this show and a lot of other shows that get advertised is how I felt about Tokyo Revengers. I read the manga for that, and I knew where it was going, so I just didn't care for the anime, so I never watched the anime. Like everyone was like raving about it when it came out, but I was like, I sleep because I already read it.
They upgraded him. Did you see his thick booty?
In the anime?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Shit. God damn.
Dean's a manga connoisseur. I am monkey brain. I only watch the anime. Rarely read mangas.
Yeah.
I used to read manga, like a couple years ago when Dean showed me the website, and I was just falling off over time. Like, I think you guys already know that, though.
Yeah.
Like the one manga series I used to read weekly, which was Rental Girlfriend, I stopped reading because it went nowhere. So I guess not with that chapter of my life ending, where I was like, reading it every week, I just gave up, and I just asked Dean like, hey, if something actually happens, let me know. Like,
for this weekly, nothing, same thing.
See, it's been like a month or two since I last asked him like, how's it going, and still doing nothing.
So, I think like the last manga I read was like Horimiya, just because like after the anime finished, I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish this up. Cause I hadn't read in years.
I forgot. Was the anime ending like all of it? Like this is the entire story?
Yeah, the last episode was like from the very last chapter of.
Okay. So yeah, so that's it for this year.
It's completely done, which made me a little sad just because like they skipped over so many good parts.
They did.
Trying to put in like the 12 episodes, but it is what it is. I finally got the anime I've been wanting for like practically more than half a decade at that point. Like, all right, finally got it. And I think the last manga I read before I kind of like dropped was like this tomboy manga called like Hitomi-san or something like that.
Oh yeah, I read that one.
Yeah, just cause like, oh, the girl looks cute. The male lead though looks dumbest looking hair I ever seen. So I was like, all right. I think I got to like chapter 18 and I just stopped for some reason. So I'm not much of a manga guy. That's probably the only two I remember in recent memory.
Yeah, manga was like anime 2 for me, where I was like, when I first got into it, I read like a lot of shit, and then eventually I had to cut down, like I do with anime now. Like I cut down to like, is this worth watching? And yeah. The last series where I actually like went on my way to watch it was 86, which was like 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like usually now I just watch like, what's coming up this season? Is it good? Is it not good? And then just go off of that now.
Yeah, for me, anime is just more of a thing for me to like to pass the time because I'm so bored right now. I'm currently like in the job search right now. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were doing that. How's that going? Found anything yet? Applied for anything?
I got word from the USPS that I failed the character assessment. So they're like sorry, no good. It's like pretty much like a personality test, and I guess I failed that personality test.
They're like, do you like Death Note? And you put NA because you didn't watch it. And they're like, all right, goodbye.
I think I put too much stuff that I was like, yeah, I like working on my own. I like working at like a steady pace. I don't like being stressed. I'm like what? Or stuff like
in our job description, it means you're supposed to be stressed.
Or like or things like they ask me things like when it comes to success, do you think hard work always leads to success, or do you think it's like a lot of it comes down to luck? I'm like, hell yeah, a lot of it comes down to luck. Sometimes you work hard as shit and you still don't succeed. This is what you should have
done. This is what he's done. No, it's all luck. According to Karl Marx, the fruit of your labor is determined by the democratic means of production. And they're like, what the fuck?
There's multiple choice. There's multiple choice between like two options. So that's all I could pick. Is like, or I put things like, sometimes the rules are just suggestions. All right, they're not always meant to be followed. So yeah, they probably didn't like those answers. Which is
that's why I fucking hate job interviews, dude. Like I know this is just the application, which is even stupider. But
yeah,
it's like they just wanted to be like a monodrone, like soulless robot to answer these questions. What's the most optimal like meta answer for this? And then it's not based off of like, who you are. Like if you want to get a job, you just lie. Like, yes, I am willing to work 20 hours per day because I'm a hard worker and I love working so much that I can't stop working. And I love working with people, even though I'm an introvert. But I love working with people because that's just who I am. I saved 10 kids I saved 10 orphans from an orphanage fire the other week, and you can verify that by
calling up my
I'm a
local
hard
fire
worker.
department. Yep.
Yeah. I've also donated 2 of my kidneys to alcoholics to save their lives. Don't ask me how I'm still running. I am the perfect worker.
I run on pure willpower and
good to know
determination and hard work. You know what's like really funny? Because like I also took like a very similar personality assessment when I took the ASTB for my flight exam for the Marines, like at the beginning of this year. It's like very similar, about like 150 questions and just like, you know, rapid fire, just like multiple choice, like which of these characters between these 2 characteristics describe you the most? Even if like both these don't describe you, pick the one that it describes you a little bit more than the other one. I took a very similar one for that to the one I took 2 days ago for the USPS, and I passed the flight exam one with like a pretty solid score. So I guess I have the personality that's good enough to fly planes. I just do not have the personality that's good enough to deliver the mail, which is really funny.
You gotta be the opposite of your fighter.
Do you like paper cuts? If not, I don't think you're the person for us.
Yeah, like I was honest for both of those because they pretty much just said like, yeah, just be honest. Like, there's no way to like, especially for the flight one. There's no way to know the answers for this. It's just like legit, just personality.
Yeah,
so.
you just have to answer as if you're like your perfect self, basically. That has like no flaws.
Just trying to see if you were a psychopath. It was a psych eval.
I guess according to the post office, I am a psychopath because
you're a psychopath.
Like, how dare you not want to work all the time and like be in like very stressful situations, which is ironic because of the military. But that's besides the point. And just like, you know, how dare I want to like enjoy working at like a steady pace? You know, that's crazy talk. Who does that?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy fucking job applications where they're like, you must be willing to work at least 16 hours a day, and stuff like, you must be willing to have 4 to 6 weeks of training unpaid. It's like, bitch, you want me to be like perfectly okay with being a slave for 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Before I start making money here, and then if I answer, I am not willing, that you're not even gonna consider hiring me. It's stupid.
Capitalism, man. It's how it be. Everything's cost money, and we rather spend that money on profits instead of you, the worker.
It's just like I don't know. It's just one of the things I'm not looking forward to. Like, cause, you know, I already did a little bit of job searching after I graduated last year, which is pretty much a year ago now, which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't apply to very many, but then like the ones that replied back, I was just like, hey, you know, why? Are you a team player? Yes or no? And I'm just like, no, yes, I am. And you know, they didn't even go back to me anyway.
Team and how good is this team? Is it a shitty team? I don't know. Depends on the team. That's very ambiguous.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I had one offer in New York, but I was just like,
go back to your people.
Yeah,
it was
it's true.
A sign. You were supposed to. Alternate Jim took it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, alternate timeline. I went back and I lost this Californian accent. I got my New York accent back. You know.
He's telling people he's walking here.
In alternate universe, for New Year's, I'm coming up to you guys. I'm like, hey, Paulie, how you doing? How's the OCS program?
Yo, how's the missus?
Hey, di pasta, spaghetti, and meatballs.
That's not even like. I don't even know if that's like New York or like, you know, like New York Italian. I don't even know. Is there like a difference at that point?
I think it's more New York Italian. It's like a mix of two, I think.
Probably. Yeah. Wouldn't that mean like Jim would be like part Italian?
What? How the kids doing, huh?
Part of the mafia. The Italian mafia.
Paul, you have messed with me for the last time. For that, you will pay with your life.
Hey Jim, what's your opinion on the Cuomos?
Cuomos? The only thing I can say is that I'm a Cuomo-sexual.
Ah. I was about to say base, but I couldn't keep a straight face.
Based and Cuomo build.
That's definitely not cringe.
Alright, I think it's about time we end it, though. We were like an hour and 20 in.
Yeah, we were
Sounds good.
20.
It's New York Jim here, and I gotta say, if you like our content... that's not New York, damn. If you like our content, watch some more. Our YouTube link descriptions below. Episodes 1 through 63 already up on YouTube. And for this episode, you can watch soon. We're gonna watch this episode soon on YouTube for coming up. If you want to watch us live every Wednesday 6:30 PDT because we ain't in New York, then you can watch some of our live stream every week, huh? If you come, you first want to show up, free pasta for all. Hey,
I love pasta.
Don't forget the meatballs and the spaghetti sauce. Hey. But yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed today's episode, drop a like, drop a comment. We love comments, okay? I commented on your dress the other day. It looked very pretty.
Oh
okay?
No. Oh no.
Alright? Drop a comment. Compliment us, okay? Look at Paul, huh? Paul has no background. He looks cringe. Compliment
I
him.
have a background. It's very homely. It's a very homely background.
It's not a fun, festive background like me and Dean's over here.
Right.
I like Dean's. Jim's giving me like an epileptic seizure every time he moves his chair.
I have the same background as
I'm gonna get
him.
epilepsy from him.
Except, wait, I just noticed our two things are mirrored. What the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
Huh. Are they mirrored? They don't look the same to me.
They're mirrored.
No, they're mirrored.
Look at the pencils. They're both pointing towards the same. They're pointing at one point somewhere above the background.
Yeah. What the fuck? I wonder why that is.
I
think it just means we're on the opposite side of the mountain or where the fuck this is, you know?
Yeah.
I'm webcamming on the north side. You're webcamming from the south side. Yeah. You know, that's why.
Actually, no. Never mind. No, it looks the same. They both look like the same background to me.
Open twitch.tv the Nincompoops, Paul, then you can see that it's mirrored, okay? Don't stop living in your bubble. Come out here to New York.
I'll go check it out.
Come to New York.
Mwah.
Later.
Bye.